What's up, guys? It is Ethan Ryder with Soccer for Us Kids, U.S Kids. I am here to preview the second week of Premier League soccer. It is going to be a very good weekend. The Premier League is looking like a very exciting league. So let's get down to previewing the second week, week 2 of the Premier League. The first game is going to be Cardiff City versus Newcastle. The newly promoted Cardiff City struggled in their first game against Bournemouth, as Newcastle played very well against Tottenham but came out as the losing side at a 2-1. Some would say they were unlucky to not get a tie in that game. I think that Newcastle are just going to be the stronger side. They have been playing very good, and they look strong against Tottenham, and Cardiff City looked a little iffy against Bournemouth, and I think they're going to have a tough time trying to stay up in the Premier League. So for that reason, I think Newcastle is going to get a 2-0 win in that game. The second game will be Tottenham versus Fulham. Tottenham are a very good side that were a little rusty, and I think this rustiness is kind of going to hurt them as they're shaking off the cobwebs, as some people would say. I think Fulham are a very strong side. I think they were very unlucky to lose 2-0 to Palace. I don't think that was really indicative of what happened during that game. And I think that Fulham has signings that are going to make them better, like Schürrle and Jean-Michel Seri. And I think this team just has players that can help them. And I think Tottenham are going to realize how good this Fulham side is. This is a new London derby, as both of them are in London. And I think Fulham, after they look strong against Palace, I think they really can come out and hurt this Tottenham side at any mistakes that they make. And for this reason, I think it's going to be a 2-2 finish. I think Tottenham are strong, but they're rusty, and I think that Fulham are going to take advantage of their rustiness, and they have players that can score, as do Tottenham. It'll be at Wembley. We'll see what's going to happen, but I do think it'll be 2-2 tie. The game after that will be West Ham versus Bournemouth. Bournemouth looked like a very strong side in their first game against Cardiff City, but it's not really fair to judge their game against Cardiff City, as Cardiff City are a newly promoted side that do look like one of the weaker opponents in the Premier League this season. West Ham also kind of are in a similar situation. They look like a very strong side, but they also can't really... They got destroyed by Liverpool in the first week, 4-0, but they can't really be judged off of that game because Liverpool are such a good side and they're challenging for the title, and they really just came out firing, and it's not really fair to judge West Ham off that game. So this is two teams that you can't really judge yet. So it's a hard prediction to make, but I think that West Ham are a strong team, but I think Bournemouth also are, so I think it's going to end in a 1-1 tie. Leicester City are going up against Wolves. This is an interesting game, as Leicester City were the crazy title heroes in a couple seasons ago, and the Wolves are a newly promoted side that are hoping for a top 8 finish. The Wolves looked very good in their last game. I think they're a very strong side, but I think Leicester City will come out on top this game 2-1, just because it is at Leicester City, it is at their stadium, King Power Stadium, and I think they're just a more established side, and they have a lot of skill and talent on their team, so I think those things combined are going to come just out on top of the Wolves. I think the Wolves will play a very good game, and it'll be interesting to see if Neves will continue his fine form. The next game will be Everton versus Southampton. I think Everton are a very good side, and they are adding a lot of new signings. It'll be interesting to see which signings play for them, as in Zuma and Bernard and Andre Gomez and Yerry Mina. It'll be interesting if all 4 of those start or if 3 out of the 4 start, but I do think those are very good players. Richarlison did come off injured in the game against Wolves, but it is expected that he will start. I think Everton are just too strong of a side for Southampton. I think Southampton are going to be in a relegation battle again this year. And for this reason, I do think that Everton are going to come out 3-1 winners. I think Ings will start for Southampton, and I think Ings will get a goal. He's a very potent goal scorer, and so it'll be interesting to see how he does with Southampton this season. But in this game, I think Everton will come out on top just because of how strong they are. They're an established Premier League side, and they have new signings that could be playing for them that could really make that difference for them. So I think Everton will come out on top 3-1. The next game could be the cream of the crop of the weekend, Chelsea versus Arsenal. Arsenal, for the second week in a row, have a hard opponent after a new managerial change in Unai Emery. It's not the easiest way to go into a season, but they do play Chelsea. I personally think Chelsea looked out of sorts in the game against Huddersfield. They did come out 3-0 winners. And interesting enough, I think Arsenal actually looked better in a 2-0 loss than Chelsea did in a 3-0 win. I think Arsenal played very well when they were on the ball against City, but City are such a good team. They did end up beating them 2-0. Chelsea did get the 3-0 win against Huddersfield, but I do think Huddersfield is a very weak side. They only had one shot on target the whole game, and they only scored 28 goals in a season last year. So this London Derby, I think, will end in an Arsenal win, 2-1. This is a bold prediction, but I do think Arsenal are better than people think they are. With Aubameyang and Lacazette up top, those are two firing strikers that, when in form, can terrorize defenses. So I do think Arsenal will come out on top 2-1. The next game is on Sunday. It's going to be Man City versus Huddersfield. I think Man City will absolutely dominate this game, even though they don't have De Bruyne, who is now out for what's said to be 3 months with a reoccurring knee injury. That could be very hurtful for Man City, but in this game, I don't think it'll matter. I think Man City are just that much better than Huddersfield, and they'll come out as 4-0 winners in my book. Huddersfield just aren't going to have any chance. They're going to sit back, and I think Man City will break them open at some point, and then it'll just be goals galore after that point. I think Aguero, Bernardo Silva, Benjamin Mendy, Leroy Sané, anyone they put into the game is going to absolutely terrorize that Huddersfield defense, and they will come out as easy winners. The next game is Burnley versus Watford. Watford had a very good first game. Burnley did as well. They played very good defense in a 0-0 tie. Watford coming out 2-0 champions. Can Pereira keep up his fine form for Watford? How are they going to get the goals? I think this will be a good game. I think Burnley's defensive prowess will definitely show, but I do think it will come out as a 1-1 tie. Burnley will end up getting their first goal of the Premier League season, and Watford will also get a goal to end the game in a tie. The game after that is Brighton versus Manchester United. This game is very interesting. Brighton didn't look very good in the first game. They looked a little weak. They are technically a Premier League side that stayed up last season. However, they just don't look quite the same side that they did last season. I think Manchester United looked very bad in their first game, but they did get the win. So it'll be interesting to see. I think Man United will come out on top, as much as I don't want them to. I think they will come out on top 1-0. I think just the play that they play is just not fun to watch. And so I never really want them to win a game, and people never really want them to win a game unless they are a Manchester United fan. But I do think they'll come out 1-0 winners, just because Mourinho somehow finds a way to win these kind of games. And Brighton, I don't think, are strong enough to really challenge Man United after they do get a goal, to maybe even score a goal themselves. And the last game of the weekend is on Monday. It is 3 p.m. Eastern Time, Liverpool versus Crystal Palace. I think Liverpool were absolutely dominant in the West Ham game. I think their front three's pace is absolutely terrifying. Defenders don't know what to do when Salah and Mane are running at them. Naby Keita adds just that more quality to this Liverpool side. Fabinho maybe will make his debut for Liverpool after making good steps in his injury process. And it'll be interesting to see how Liverpool fare against a Crystal Palace side with a dangerous attacking player like Wilfried Zaha. I think Liverpool will come out 3-1 winners. I think they'll just be that a little bit too much for Crystal Palace. Their team, Mohamed Salah, Firmino, and Mane, they just like to get on the score sheet. And I do think Zaha will score. It's just hard to put Zaha not scoring for Crystal Palace, but I do think Liverpool will come out 3-1 winners. Thank you guys for watching. Hit the subscribe button, hit the like button. I'm looking forward to this weekend of soccer. I hope you guys are too. And I'll see you guys next time on Soccer for Us Kids.